and thanks for joining us on the Wisconsin Weather Experts. I have Holly Baker with me, and we have a busy day today. Now, we're going to start it off with Holly. You were at what? Juneteenth parade today, and if you didn't watch our noon show, hopefully we'll get it in. You were doing a little dance moves out there.
Oh, yeah, they were doing line dancing. It was so much like going on out there, you guys, and it was a wonderful time. It was nice to meet some of you that were actually out there on the parade route. It was hot, so the forecast definitely verified, I tell you that, but it's going to be even hotter as we go towards this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot in terms of the heat to talk about, but today is not only Juneteenth, it also is the first official day of Summerfest. And because it's the first day, we want to take you back to last year. If you remember this footage, we had a rainy and stormy Summerfest last year. Significant, in fact. It caused a wet scene with people dodging from it. Of course, some kids going in the puddles there, hopefully when the storms were not around. It did delay shows, but it did not keep people from coming out and overall enjoying the show. Now let's kick it back another year. We're talking 2023. That is when we had wildfire smoke. Yes, we've been dealing with it this year, but the Canadian wildfires continued to surge in, bringing us poor air quality, bad ground level ozone, and that led to poor and hazardous air that caused haze in the sky. Again, people still came out there, but with our fluctuations of weather, from bad air quality to rain and storms, I think we're wondering, what is this year going to be like, right?
Right, yeah. So what will Mother Nature give us this year? So in order to find out, we have to send it out to Steph and Rob at Summerfest ground right now. Hello, guys.
Hello. I hope you can hear us over the School of Rock. These kids are rocking out in behind us here. Of course, Summerfest is now officially open. As we just saw off the top of the show, the last couple of years, it has been challenging to be a meteorologist attending Summerfest.
Oh, yes. You never know. It may start sunny and then have a storm pop up, and then everybody takes off their ponchos and they're back to partying. But it's always a possibility.
And last year, it just poured. It absolutely poured that opening weekend. And then as we just learned, the year before that, it was the wildfire smoke. We still have some smoke up there, but it's not as bad. We are starting off so strong today. And Steph, when I came in this morning for Wake Up, it was so damp. It had poured rain overnight, big puddles. And the moisture in the air, all the papers we had were just soaked, just that damp paper kind of feel. The chairs had condensation on them every time we stood up. And then the sun came out, look at that dew point separation, the air dried out, and now we just had this beautiful, beautiful day. Unfortunately, it may not last forever.
Yeah, it may end up being one of those days where we see at least a few storms popping later this afternoon. We're talking late afternoon, maybe early evening. So I think we're fine for the first half of Summerfest today. But just know it might be a good day to bring the poncho if you're planning on staying late, just in case.
Right, and if you need to, of course, wear a hat. It's always a good idea. The sun, got to protect your skin. I'm not a big hat guy. They don't fit my head. But they are giving away hats. Here's an example of some of the door prizes that you can get. One of the free hats. They also have hats you can purchase this year.
These are really cool. So this is from a vendor called the Howdy Hat Bar. And so you can make your own hat. And these are examples of Summerfest hats and what you can make yourself. So something to check out here that's new this year at Summerfest.
And so when we got these, because they sent us all these samples, and they saw it, and so like this is just a generational thing, because I was like, what is happening with this hat? Like there's so much going on, right?
They're busy.
And then I showed it to my daughter, who's 21 years old, and like totally into the fashion and arts and craft scene. And she loved it. She had it ripped out of my hand before I could even, ask her if she wanted it. So these are going to be super popular if you can get your hands on one of them, and you can kind of pick it and you put the Summerfest logo on there. Again, these are really classic ones. They've got other ones that are a little bit different as well. Obviously, the merch here is always fantastic. And it's a good idea to kind of protect yourself from the sun today because we'll have a lot of it. And then later on in the run this weekend, the heat.
The heat's going to be a big deal for Saturday and Sunday, and even tomorrow, but especially Saturday. I mean, we could have air temperatures well into the the 90s, heat indices in the triple digits. So if that's your day to come down to Summerfest, it's going to be really important to hydrate.
Right, and the good news is they have lots of places that you can hydrate here. A lot of water fountains, or bubblers as we like to call them. There's places to buy water or anything else that you want to hydrate with. Remember that alcoholic beverages don't actually hydrate you significantly. They can actually dehydrate you.
Yes.
But they also have misting stations to cool you down, and there's shaded spots as well. You can go check out the marketplace and things like that. But just be mindful of it over the next few days, because we want to be able to enjoy all the amazing music, the food, and everything else, and not end up with a case of heat sickness and things like that. So of course we'll keep an eye on that. But let's go back to the studio, back to the weather office, and get the regional update.
Yeah, and Steph and Rob, I want you guys to think hard, because at the end of the show, we're going to ask you, who are you looking forward to seeing? And when you're going to see us down there in just a little bit. So hopefully we can all get together. We have a nice chance. If you're heading down now, you can see Steph and Rob, and you guys are at the U.S. Cellular stage, right?
Yep. That's right, yeah. The U.S. Cellular Connection stage is right behind us here. We're also a co-sponsor of the stage. You'll notice the Fox signage all over the place, and of course you'll notice a big QR code to download Fox Local. If you're watching us right now, you've obviously got it at least on your connected television, but tell your friends, tell your family, get down here, download the app, and you can watch these shows live anywhere, even right here. You could be watching this show in person and on your phone at the same time.
Hey, and this may be one of the best days for the opening weekend to get down there because of the weather. And as we've been talking about, the heat is going to be a big problem. So we'll touch up with you guys in just a little bit. Of course, we're going to talk about that regional forecast, starting off with today. Yes, Summerfest. It's looking to be one of the better days as we take a look at our planner right now for Summerfest, because it's going to be mostly sunny compared to this morning when we had the thick clouds, even some showers. That has all progressed out of here. Now we are hanging on to the sunshine. Temperatures in the 70s, but continuing to warm into the low 80s this afternoon. What we're watching in particular, though, and Steph did point on this, it's going to be the afternoon hours into the early evening hours. There is a slim chance we could have an isolated shower or storm, and just because of the amount of moisture, instability, and heat in the atmosphere, one of those storms could lean on the stronger side. However, what we're lacking today is a lifting mechanism that will help those storms be lofted into the air. So the fronts further north, which we'll talk about, due to the lack of that lift in the atmosphere, that actually is decreasing our chances for storms today. Still out there in the forecast, but we'll be tracking it closely. Let's take a look at some of our past Summerfest opening day weathers, because last year it was 70 degrees for opening day, and yes, we had some precip out there. We talked about and showed you that video of very rainy Summerfest last year. 2023, which was when we had the smoke, it was a little bit warmer, 84 degrees with no precip, and then we had the 70s in 2002 and 2001. So the last time that we've had the low 80s for opening day was back in 2023. So we are looking to have one of the warmer opening days for Summerfest this year. What we're tracking, though, in terms of the heat, is as we head into the weekend, this dome of high pressure is just going to sit over the southeast. And notice where those red colors continue to pop up as we head into Sunday, as we head into Monday, and even as we're heading into Tuesday. It is the exact same area in the Midwest to the south and to the East Coast that is going to bring us this consecutive pattern of hot and humid weather. So what is a heat dome? Well, we have high pressure, right? We have sinking air with high pressure near the surface. Then that air eventually is going to spread out, cool, and it's going to rise back up. When we have that constant sinking and rising air again, that just keeps the heat in place. So we're constantly having that hot air circulating around us and that moisture sticking around us too. So that is going to give us this trapped heat dome pattern as we head into the weekend and early next week. Now let's take a look at the heat, because we have been dealing with close to and record-breaking high temperatures across areas of the Southwest from Death Valley into southern Arizona. Actual air temperatures 108 to 116. So that's where we're still watching heat warnings there. We are in our area, at least the Midwest, dealing with a heat watch, a big area right now to the west of us, having a heat watch in place where our feel-like temperatures could be 105 to 110, and that is including western portions of Wisconsin. Now, we still have a day or so, but it is very favorable that we might be watching more areas areas of Wisconsin added under heat headlines. And for us here, yes, that could mean a heat advisory. So we're going to watch that for the next step in the forecast. But with the heat headlines so close to us and anticipating that heat that's going to be here shortly, we'll have to really focus on the weekend as that heat is going to come. Now, we're going to focus on the weekend temps coming up, but take a look. We're tracking the 100s for highs off to the southwest. That's also going to be very close to record-breaking highs. So there will be some areas across the Midwest and South that could have record high temperatures over the next few days. For today in Wisconsin, we're looking to have the low to mid 80s for our temperatures and getting even warmer as we head into the weekend and next week. The 90s will be with us. That's about 15 to 20 degrees above average. But because we are looking to increase our dew points, right now we're having the 60s, which is comfortable, maybe a little muggy in some areas inland. It's going to be the big change by the weekend, not only increasing the temperatures, but our dew points getting to that oppressive category. When we start to mix the temperatures as well as the moisture in the air, that's when we combine that to get our heat index. So we're looking at having those heat indices heading into the weekend that will be in the triple digits, and that's looking to be almost statewide. This will be with us Saturday heading into Sunday. Again, Monday, Tuesday, all have the potential for that, so we're tracking it closely. Watching a dying complex of storms coming from the north, but we are tracking a better chance across the state of the potential of a strong to severe storm today as well as tomorrow. So as we continue to look at our Sky Vision Plus, a couple more storms likely to develop in northern portions of Wisconsin today. That could start to come down into southeastern Wisconsin by the time we head into Friday morning and even Friday afternoon. So there'll be these waves of showers and storms that move through. We do look to clear that out, though, by the weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about the precipitation yesterday because a very large swath brought areas 3 to 4 inches in Rock and Walworth County. In fact, 4.25 inches in Delavan, 3.98 inches in Elkhorn. That caused flooding headlines. And yes, we had a viewer send us in photos from Delavan, from Trisha, of flooded sidewalks, flooded roads, and even, again, a better depiction of that flooding at a car dealership. So what caused all of this flooding? Well, we have Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks to break down more.
We had quite a bit of rain across the area yesterday, so I want to peel back the layers a little bit and talk about why. Take a look. Look down towards Kansas and Oklahoma. This was late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. And you see the spin right here? So a couple of things going on. Number one, we had a trough of low pressure swinging across the plain states, and that was heading in our direction. But these thunderstorms, again, that developed way down to our southwest, also aided in forming this circulation, this area of low pressure, so it's somewhat storm generated. It's what we call a mesoscale convective vortex. In meteorology, that's a mouthful, right? Sometimes we'll shorten it to MCV. Why does this matter? Well, it's interesting because you'll see how it spins in our direction, right? And lands just down to our south and southeast. So it's not only how this feature was generated, which again was in part because of thunderstorms that were way far away from us. It was in the wake, essentially, of those thunderstorms, but it's also the location or the positioning of this area of low pressure because we were on the north side of it, right? And that brought us the heavy rains that we had on Wednesday because we were positioned on the north side of the low. Watch what happens on the warmer side of this system. Boom. See that nasty line of thunderstorms rolling across Indiana into Ohio? That also has to do with them being on the warmer side of this, and that fed those strong to severe thunderstorms down to our southeast. So the positioning is really what gave us the type of weather that we had. Instead of severe thunderstorms, we were left with that rain and temperatures in the 60s to low 70s on Wednesday. So again, just to recap here, this is one of the things we really watch for in the summertime months is where do these complexes of storms develop? And again, this one was way down to the southwest in Kansas and Oklahoma, but it's not just where those storms are. It's what they leave behind, what they leave in its wake, because that, in turn, can impact our weather in the following days.
Well, thanks, Tom, for that. Of course, we always are talking about these systems bringing heavy rain and storms. And when we start heading into the summer months, of course, we get more storms, right?
Yes, we do. I mean, not this weekend, though.
Yes.
We got to at least keep our eyes on the light there, or the light at the end of the tunnel, which is all the sunshine for this weekend coming up.
Yes, and we have a lot more coming up in terms of storms a little bit farther away from us. We have that, and talking about a cruise ship on the run. We're going to break down more in Wisconsin weather experts coming up after the break. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. Holly and I have been here enjoying a great day. She was out at the Juneteenth parade today.
It was awesome.
Having a great time, and the weather was great too, right?
Yeah, you know what though? It was like, okay, it was hot. It was borderline hot. And I don't even want to say hot because it's going to be hotter this weekend, but it felt like we were in the deep south because the humidity, it hit really, really hard today. Yeah. My hair survived, I'll say that.
Hey, as a female, the hair is the most important part. So I'm happy, I'm glad, and I'm hoping mine survives too. Another area of the deep south, I guess we can consider it from here, is Mexico. And they've been having another hurricane impacting the Pacific.
Yes, they have. So in the Pacific Ocean, a major hurricane Eric is now a Category 1 hurricane. Eric made landfall Thursday morning in extreme western Mexico as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds at, look at this, 125 miles per hour. So that is insane. Okay, so we're kicking off hurricane season with a bang. The storms is on a course to hit Mexico's southern coast today. Eric was bumped up from Category 1 to a 4 in just a matter of hours overnight. Wow. People in the beach side of Acapulco say that they fear Eric could bring similar devastation as Hurricane Otis from 2 years ago did. All beach town communities have been ordered to stop all movement ahead of the storm's landfall.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And it was incredible. So I was up very early this morning when Rob was out at the Summerfest grounds. It was still a Cat 4. It quickly dropped to a Cat 3 as it was approaching land. And then within hours now is a Category 1. So that just shows you the strength that the ocean has. The warm waters can strengthen those tropical systems. And then when they start to get into inland, they weaken rather quickly. So this was a storm that dropped really within the winds in a matter of hours. Again, a Category 1 hurricane still has 85-mile-per-hour winds, and that is strong enough to cause a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
To keep in mind, a severe thunderstorm for us is 60-mile-per-hour winds for it to be classified as that.
The wind is whistling whenever it's just that, you know, at 65 miles per hour. And you got to think about it. You got rain that's also included with this hurricane, as well as the storm surge. I mean, that's going to also be a big deal as well.
Yeah.
But that all fills in after the fact. It's not all happening at the time that the hurricane's there. It's like after the fact you start to see all the flooded water. So yeah, I'm hoping that everybody stays okay in that area with the hurricanes. We're just at the beginning of the season, folks. So we definitely have more to come.
Well, and talking about strong winds, we're going to toss it back out to Rob and Steph. They're going to give us a quick wave. Is it windy by you guys down at the lakefront or not really?
A little bit of a breeze. It feels really good right now.
It does feel
I'll
quite
take
nice.
it.
Because we're inside the bar at the U.S. Cellular Stage. If we're familiar with it, the wall of this faces the lake, so we'd probably be getting a bit more of a breeze if we had some open water. But it is a nice little breeze here. We got the kids from School of Rock rocking out in behind.
They sound amazing.
They really are very good.
It sounds like a recording.
Yes, I mean, and they're just, judging from here, they're just, mostly teenagers at oldest. I've been playing guitar since I was 16 years old. I don't sound anything like that.
They sound great. And local Wisconsinites, so they're doing lovely right now. What an opportunity, too.
Exactly. So we're officially underway down here at Summerfest, obviously, and this is one of the best starts we've had in a couple of years after going through smoke and heavy rain and everything in the last year or two. But there are still a few things to be mindful of. One of the things is, of course, that we're getting a lot of sun today.
Yeah.
A lot of sun and heat this weekend. So protect your skin and remind yourself, refresh your memory on, heat-related sickness symptoms. So if you're feeling a little nauseous, if you're getting a little clammy, if your skin feels, hot, or if you all of a sudden feel cold.
Yeah.
Those are signs that you may be suffering from some heat exposure or even just kind of a heat illness, and that's no way to end your Summerfest fun.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, we've got a lot to happen, of course, outside, but there's other things you can do to stay cool.
Yeah, there are misting centers around here, too. Make sure you can... I believe you can still bring in a water bottle and fill it up.
You can, an empty bottle, they're fine with that. Or there's tons of places to buy some water.
Of course.
There are filling stations for bottles if you have that. You can't bring the big bags in and no coolers. You're not going on a picnic. It's Summerfest, right?
Make sure you look at all of those guidelines, of course, before you go in. But, I mean, Saturday really is going to be the day where you're going to want to plan ahead because we could be feeling like triple digits. And that is some serious heat to be out in the sunshine. Try to find some shade from time to time. Take breaks.
Because there are some indoor spots. The World Stage just next to us here has a cover. There's, of course, the Martini, the Tiki Martini Lounge. I can't remember the name.
Good spot.
That's a good spot to get in and out of the sun for a little bit, listen to some cover bands, rock out. Even the Pavilion's got some coverage there as well.
Yeah, so there are options and ways to stay safe and get out of the sun for a little bit. So something you're really going to need to keep in mind for Saturday's heat.
And as we go back to the weather office, I don't know if you guys have ever done any kayaking. You could try it for free this year. It's a new thing in the lagoon. They're going to let you have a kayak ride.
Love it. I want to take it home with me then. That's going to be the problem.
We've got to go, Lisa. We've got to go.
That's true.
Hey, we're going to be back just shortly. But Rob, you said you rocked out on the guitar. I want to see you on that stage doing it as well.
You might be the only one that wants that. These kids, though, they are awesome. And when they just started this song, I was like, is that a recording?
I know.
Oh, they're doing great.
It sounds
so
great on our end.
And
it does.
Yeah, it really does. So get down here, and again, just be prepared for it weather-wise.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll be checking in with you shortly. Again, stay tuned because after the break, we have a little more fun in store for your Wisconsin weather experts. welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. We're going to throw it out to Rob and Steph at the Summerfest grounds for opening day. Gates just opened about 26 minutes ago. So I want to know quickly, who are you two looking forward to seeing over the next 3 weeks?
I think I'm going to go see The Fray, which is next Saturday. I wish I would have got tickets to Benson Boone, though. He's amazing.
Oh, I know. That's the hard tickets to get.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get tickets to see Hozier tomorrow with Gigi Perez is the opening act
that'll be a
there,
great
so
one.
I'm excited to see that with my daughter Nyla. So we're going to rock out on Friday. It's going to be a ton of fun. But no matter who you come down to see, it's always fun, and we're excited to have our first live on location episode of Wisconsin Weather Experts from Summerfest.
We're going to be rocking out here at the station,
Right.
going down there in a little bit. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Yes, we're going to be talking about, a great forecast for today. Tomorrow, really focusing on the dangerous heat, though, triple-digit heat indices heading into the weekend. So make sure you're staying protected from the sun and staying hydrated.
I know, and eat your water. Fruit, lots of fruit.
Well, let's take another live look outside right now. As the clouds have moved out, we have sunshine, dry roads. We'll have a lot more, so stay tuned. You can watch us tomorrow at noon.